Recently I learned that there's going to be a Lion King prequel starring Mufasa, Simba's father. And of course, this is going to be a prequel to that remake that came out a few years ago, so it's going to be in the same stiff-ass, awful CGI. As an aside, can we please bring back 2D animated movies? You don't have to completely get rid of CGI, but can we have a healthy balance of 2D animated movies and CG animated movies? I am so tired of every fucking animated movie looking exactly the same these days, but anyways, were there really that many people who were begging and pleading for a Mufasa origin story? My money is on not many people, and I have never seen the remake, nor do I ever plan on seeing the remake, but the original Lion King is my favorite Disney movie. And whenever I do watch the Lion King, I'm never like, I really need to see more of Mufasa. Not because I think he's a bad character, of course, but his relevance to the plot in the Lion King is to instill strength, loyalty, responsibility into Simba, and to be a guiding figure for him even after death. Since he is dead for most of the movie, and mostly serves as a device for Simba to learn that he can't run away from his responsibilities and needs to accept his purpose in life, I'm not intrigued enough to learn about Mufasa's upbringing, and honestly, I'm fine with leaving Mufasa's upbringing up to my imagination. I don't need to learn the backstories of every single character in a movie or a TV show, etc. Sometimes it is perfectly okay to allow the audience to fill in the blanks themselves. That's what allows a piece of media to maintain its staying power, the mystique behind a character and their backstory. It allows the viewer to come up with their own interpretations and versions of events that lead up to what we see on the screen. But when you spoon-feed the audience every facet of a character, that doesn't leave much open for the audience to discuss. This doesn't mean I'm completely anti-prequel either. Better Call Saul is a fantastic show that expands upon Breaking Bad's universe. Or if you want to step outside the movie and television realm, Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best games I have ever played, and hell, I think it has an even better story than the first game, though I don't think that's much of a hot take. But not every prequel is a Better Call Saul or an RDR2. A lot of prequels are quick cash grabs off of an already existing and popular IP. And I don't think that this will be much different because the Disney of the past, like what, 10-15 years, has been less concerned with making original IPs, but rather heavily relying on their already existing, already popular IPs and making live action or ugly CG remakes of them, because they know that millions of people will come flocking to see these movies because of the brand recognition. And of course, gobbling up any major studio they can so they can be even less concerned with creating anything original themselves. I mean, obviously Disney has never been this bastion of originality. Most of their classic movies are based off of popular fairy tales and stories that long predate Disney. The Lion King is Hamlet, but with animals. But you get what I mean. I hate this trend of remaking old movies or prequels no one asked for the sake of getting as many asses in the movie theater seats as possible, because it's a much safer bet than actually making something new. Nostalgia is a huge selling point these days, and all of these major movie studios are banking heavily on it. I remember The Lion King, The Little Mermaid, Mulan from when I was a kid, and now these movies are going to be in theaters again in the form of remakes. Wow, nostalgia overload. I gotta see these movies ASAP. All the more reason for me to believe that nostalgia is a fucking poison. But anyway, even outside of thinking that a lot of prequels are just cheap cash grabs, the problem I have with every prequel, even prequels I personally enjoy, is that if you're already familiar with the events that follow the prequel, a lot of tension is immediately removed. Like, for example, if you've already seen Breaking Bad, then you already know that Saul, Gus, Mike, Tuco, etc. are going to be perfectly okay in Better Call Saul because they're already in Breaking Bad, which, of course, takes place after Better Call Saul. And when it comes to new characters introduced in a prequel, you already know that something is gonna happen to them, whether they die at some point, or something causes them to leave before the events of the original source material occur. Yeah, sure, obviously that still does create tension because you wonder what the fate of these characters will be, but it is still not a complete shock when they either die or something in general bad happens to them, causing them to leave the plot, because again, they're not in the original movie or the original show. Sure, a character can still receive a fate that you were not expecting at all that can still surprise you, like for example a certain character's death in the final season of Better Call Saul that I absolutely will not spoil. That was unfortunately spoiled for me before I got to that point of the show. Thank you, YouTube algorithm. But you still know on some level that something bad will happen to this character, because their fate isn't completely up in the air like it would be if this were a standalone property. So all in all, can Hollywood finally stop relying on already existing properties so fucking heavily and actually create something new for once? But yeah, like that's ever gonna happen. So long as people continue to watch these lazy remakes and lazy prequels, they will continue to be churned out. Because again, these movie studios will prey on your nostalgia because they know that's what sells right now. Stop fucking falling for it. That's all I have to say. Bye-bye.